let's talk about how to build a spirit symbol book. So I've been asked recently to create a video about how we can develop our own spirit symbol book. And a spirit symbol book is a book of symbols that can be commonly used by spirits who want to communicate with you to get the message across clearer. Honestly, when I started doing readings, I noticed that spirit communicated in a totally different language than I was used to, and I really had to learn the language of spirit. And some of the things that they did, one particular thing was that they used to show me the same symbols for certain things. So this is different spirits, different families. They technically should know each other, but they were all coming through with these very similar symbols. So I started to keep track of them because they helped me in my readings. You can imagine spirits coming at you with scents and smells and sounds and visions and light and all these things. And so you're trying to put everything together to deliver a message to somebody. And I'm sure sometimes I looked like a little bewildered because there's so much information coming through at once. So having symbols really helps if you know exactly what they mean. So one symbol that I used to get a lot from spirit was the snap of the fingers. So if they snapped their fingers in front of me, then in front of my third eye, then I would know that that means that that person had left this earth very quickly, so that their passing was sudden. If spirit came forward and they made the motion across their neck as if like cutting off, that meant that at the end of their life, they had no voice. So they possibly didn't say goodbye to their loved one because there's no ability to speak at the end when they're passing. So I noticed with spirit that this was happening, and I said to spirit, I said, can you please send me symbols as often as possible? And I'm going to keep track of them. But really, how this first started for me was my journal. So I would journal and keep track of some of the things that spirit would show me, teach me, and just recording it and writing these things down, it kind of cemented it in my memory and also in my awareness. So when I was doing readings, I would recall those symbols to help me with the current reading. So as time went on, I realized that this was a thing. This was spirit telling me that these are the symbols we want to use to communicate with you. This is part of our language. And so when I realized that, I started to keep an actual notebook that was just literally, I would write down, let's see if I can find a really good one for you. So literally I would just write down like what I saw, and I would write down what it meant. And I just, there's pages and pages of this. Sometimes they would be flowers, certain flowers meant certain things. Sometimes it would be animals, insects. Sometimes it was actual like a stop sign, like a traffic stop sign. Sometimes it would be a green traffic light, like you're good to go, this information's all clear. I did have to kind of do this with my guides as well because spirit, they can only go so far. So my guides were that extra kind of push to help this happen. So keeping a journal is important, keeping track of these things as you see them. Intuition moves so fast, and these pictures can flash so fast in your mind's eye or in your third eye that sometimes you miss them. And so there's a lot of like intentional asking for the messages to come through at a speed that you can understand, that you can contemplate, you can be in awareness of it. You can actually say, oh my God, okay, that spirit is trying to tell me that they're showing me a bumblebee, so they're trying to show me that they were a really hard worker in their life, but maybe didn't get the recognition. They were part of the group, or maybe they're showing you a bird like an eagle, and the eagle is a symbol of a bird that can fly above the storms, that has longevity, that is a survivor. So animals can mean certain things, and we can even, see certain symbols for pets. If there's certain occasions that need to be recognized, Spirit can show you a birthday cake for a birthday, or maybe baby booties for a new baby. There's many things that can happen. Recently, what I've seen when people want to talk to a loved one who has had some hand in their passing, so there's been some responsibility on their part leaving this world, I have to work very hard to make that energy, that person, that soul comfortable to speak to me, because they know they've done, sometimes they know that they've done something that's hurt other people deeply, so they stand back. And that's a symbol for me. When they come from very far away, it seems like you're watching them walk from a mile away, and they're in a shadow. Recently I had a reading where the gentleman came through and he showed two sides to himself, literally two sides to his face. So he showed me the very happy, jovial side, and then the other side of his face was pointed in the other direction, and it was in a shadow, as if to say, that part of me it was part of me, but I'm not proud of it. So you can kind of, if the intuition is moving, if the pictures are moving at a pace that you can tune into them, then you can keep track of them and you can use them for future readings. Because what happens in the spirit world, they actually know that you're doing this. So they know that you're keeping track of all these symbols. Believe me, they know a lot of stuff about us. So my symbol book, I created this book. I have all these symbols written down in here that help me with my readings. It's not the only thing I use. It's just a tool. Okay, so it's just part of your practice. But I would say to you that you're always going to get new symbols. Like, this is never going to stop. If you're in this world and you're a reader, or if you're communicating with spirit on a regular basis, this is always going to evolve, and you're always going to get more stuff. Remember, you have to ask too. So you have to ask spirit or ask your guides to give symbols that make sense to you. So for instance, if it's something that I have no concept of, so I don't know what Hungarian dinners look like, but recently I was reading a grandmother from Hungary, and she was showing me things that they cooked, but it was in a form that I understood, some things that were from my diet or from my background that I could understand, but she was telling me that no, it's made this way. So she had to use my own perception to show me what that looked like, and communicate to her family the kind of special things that she would make for them. So recording these symbols is important, but obviously the symbols will change and they'll morph, and they may not be the same for every reading. But if you have kind of a basic idea of what your symbols mean, and your symbols are going to be different from somebody else's, if you have a good understanding of what your symbols mean, I think you will always be able to kind of read the symbols that come in. Even if they're a little different, they'll still make sense to you, because you'll have that basis of your symbols, your basic symbols that you use all the time. So I hope that helps with developing your own spirit symbol book. And it really did accelerate my readings. It really did cut to the chase. It helped with more directness, because we all know how complicated emotions can be. And if you're an empath and your spirits that are coming to you are strictly communicating through emotions, that can be it can be quite complicated, honestly. So symbols kind of cut to the chase. They're very direct, and they can help you a lot with developing that relationship with the sitter, or with the read-e, I guess, as you could say. So if you have any questions or comments, just drop me a little note there in the comment section. Make sure you like the video and subscribe to this channel. If these are things that you want to see more of, let me know, and just support the channel. Subscribe. There's a link to my free course in the description, as well as a link to sign up for my newsletter. Talk to you soon.